Hoi, it's louisity again. So for this video, I'll be telling you the reads that kind of disappointed me. Now, just to kind of clarify this, these reads, some of these are even like 4+ out of 5 ratings. It's just that I was expecting more from them. It's like, I was expecting it to be this, and then it ended up like being just this. So, or this. So, yeah, without further ado, let's start. So the first book that I'm going to be talking about, it's really popular in booktube, and actually when I read it, I gave it like 4.25 out of 5 stars, 4.25 out of 5 rating. I was expecting it to be like a 5 out of 5 or a 4.75, but I ended up giving it like a 4.25. That is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Now, the reason why I gave it like a 4.25 is because I was expecting more from like the perspective of the police officer, but I do understand why it was like written the way it is, just having like a single perspective. But to me, if I wanted to have like more emotions to be elicited out of me, like more of that anger, that which I think that's what the book is aiming for, I wanted to like hear more from the policeman. So that's why. And I have a review in my channel. I'll be linking it down below, so feel free to check that out. I have more insights there as well, but overall it's still pretty good. I gave it 4.25 out of 5. Up next would have to be, now it's a bit surprising because I've been kind of like raving this series, and I've been like recommending people like the first book of it, and then for them to go through the entire series. I haven't read like the final book for this one, but it's just that I guess because of the first book, I was expecting it for it to be a certain way, but it ended up not exactly being that way. I was expecting it to be like a 4 out of 5, but I ended up giving it like a 3.25 out of 5. So that is China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan. Now, if you're like in the mood for like a very dramatic, and if you like to see more of like multiple perspectives of the story, like you would like to see a lot of characters, probably if you're kind of like more into characters, character driven, probably would appreciate it. It's just for me, I felt like, it revolved to so many people that I didn't know like the main focus of the story, compared to Crazy Rich Asians, about like when Rachel's being introduced to the family of Nick Young. Yeah, this one, it just had a lot of things going on, and I gotta be careful because I want to spoil something. And yeah, but overall it's still kind of fun for me. It's just that I guess I was hoping for some sort of a slice of life. And I also have a book review of this book, so feel free to check that out as well. So I read a classic this year, and unfortunately it made in this list. Now, I remember reading this back in 4th grade, or rather I started reading it in 4th grade, and I decided I DNF'd it because I just couldn't connect with it. It's actually one of the books that I can read for my reading class, and I ended up like not finishing it. And then I tried like, reading it again when I had the opportunity to get the book again, and unfortunately I was not able to connect with it. That book is Kim by Rudyard Kipling. I was expecting it to be a 4 out of 5, but I ended up giving it like a 2 out of 5. Now, the reason behind this is like, I think the way it was written, I just couldn't get, like, for some reason I just couldn't connect with it. The theme, the story, the setting was great. I love the fact that it's like a classic novel set in like, in another world, like in Southern Asia. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But anyway, yeah, and like the whole, like chosen one and all that trope or premise, but as I was reading it, I just couldn't get into it. By the way, I don't have a physical copy of it. I read an ebook, which I don't know if that's a factor. But like I said, I read this way back when I was in 4th grade. I was able to borrow a physical copy of it, and I still couldn't connect with it. And that makes me think, would I be able to connect with like war-like stories like Game of Thrones or like those high fantasy stories? Makes me think now if that's gonna be kind of my cup of tea. Hopefully in the future I would be able to appreciate them, but right now maybe I'd rather watch them. The next one, I've mentioned it in my other videos, and I actually finished the series this year. I actually have a book review of the first 3 books, and it feels so sad that it made it in this list, but I was just really disappointed because I was expecting it to be a 4 or really enjoy it, but I gave it 2.5, and that is this one, Shatter Me. Now feel free to watch my video because I had like some things that I said here that are not so nice about the book. There were things here that really like, made me like dislike it or give that rating. The only thing that I really liked about it is like the erotic scenes, but trust me, like if you're gonna watch my review, yes. And I'm not really much, particular or keen on the writing style, and the writing style of this one just, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. And the last one that made this list is actually a gift from my friend, a birthday gift. Unfortunately, there were things about it that I disconnected with, and that is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libbre. I've always wanted to read a Libbre book. I mentioned that in my haul when I hauled this one. And when I read it, it had a great premise about like the whole kind of like sci-fi meets medieval history. It's kind of like historical fiction meets sci-fi slash fantasy. But, when I was like reading it, some of the parts were just kind of like, I don't know, it was just kind of bland or unnecessary. Got tongue-tied about that one. Yeah, this book made me tongue-tied. Well, right now in this video. But anyway, it had a great plot. I was expecting a little bit more from it. It just didn't really cut it for me. And at the same time, it makes me now think if I'm going to continue with this series, I guess if I can find the books here in my country, here in the Philippines, because I don't see, even this one, I don't see it being sold in bookstores. So who knows? It wasn't really that bad. I mean, I'm so open in reading New Moon, which you all know that Twilight is like, if not the lowest, one of the lowest rated books in my entire life, okay? Moving on to Twilight, but let's go back to this one. I like the cover. That's another thing that frustrates me. I felt like it had so much more, but it was just like 3.25, I believe, out of 5, as opposed to like a 4 or even higher. Feel free to comment down below the books that disappointed you this year. So I guess that's about it. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon somewhere down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. Also, I'll be linking down and putting my social media handles, so feel free to check me out there as well and follow me. As always, thank you super much for watching, and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all!